I
Because
don't know
it's
how, I have to
everyone-
ask Katie, but they do have parties there
Yeah.
while the pool is open to the public.
I talked,
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
that.
Okay, but is it $3 per person
Well,
who
I
wants to
have-
go in,
I'm
or
not
is it only $3
How about if
per
we verify
swim?
that?
Yeah. Pardon me?
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you're paying the price for the party though, I don't know.
But there's no price for a party, I don't think, if you're not closing it, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't,
Don't
but
you
I
still
still,
have to pay the lifeguard though?
well, not if the lifeguard's already on duty.
Yeah.
See, that's the,
Well,
Yeah.
that's why you're paying that money is for
Right.
having.
So we should throw it out, I just want to throw it out there, like maybe do like a $1, non-swimmer type, individual entry fee.
But then we run into the problem that a person can say, well, listen, I already have a membership fee for myself and my family. I'm coming with a badge. Why should I have to pay?
Well, all of their,
I think that they would have to.
Yeah, they would have to, no, I'm only talking, because we talked about it, and we decided we're not gonna do that, because we'd be paying like, $200 just to get people in the pool.
I think we do that. I mean, just in my opinion, you get a flat rate for when I have a party, it's a flat rate or whatever.
well, do we have that?
$100.
We have
Yeah, but that's outside of regular pool, outside of, I'm talking
During
about,
pool hours.
yeah, I'm talking about during pool hours.
During pool hours, do a flat rate up to 20.
What are they getting? What are they getting for that flat rate? See, that's the thing, when you're charging them a rate like that, and you're having sole use of the pool, that
No,
you're
I'm not
paying-
suggesting so.
No, but I'm just saying, if you were to flip that and say, well, you could have your party here during pool hours, but you still have to pay a fee, they're not really getting any kind of dedicated service or anything like that.
The only thing I could suggest in that respect, to have a lifeguard on duty just for those kids. And you pay that lifeguard
Right.
to
Yeah.
supervise.
And if that lifeguard would not be looking at any other kids except that
Right,
party.
and if anything, give them a colored band for that day, that those kids.
I'm just throwing this out
I mean,
as
that's-
ideas.
No, you're right, and.
I think it might attract more parties to.
That's what I'm thinking, as well, because like, maybe we wanted to have it down there at the pool, but we weren't going to, because, we pay, like I said, like, $150, $200, just to get people into the door. Before we buy any food, before we buy any drinks,
Right.
anything. Like, maybe we could like just dedicate like one area of, not the pool, but like the grassy area there, a couple tables or,
Party place.
yeah, just something like that,
It's an idea, but I'd have to see about, really have a lifeguard on specific for.
And just pay specifically for a lifeguard.
Yeah, maybe.
For
And
2
then,
hours or so for a lifeguard.
yeah, for 2 or 3 hours, yeah. I mean, you have to talk the lifeguards down there and see what.
Is there a ratio as far as lifeguard swimmers?
There is.
So what we
There
can do then,
It's in one of the, yes, there is a ratio.
Okay, so depending on the number of kids or swimmers that you have on your party, you might need more than one lifeguard.
what we can do then is bring in one of the lifeguards who's not scheduled to work.
Exactly.
That's what I said, pay for another
Yeah.
lifeguard to
Because
be
the
on.
person having the party pays.
Maybe throw an extra $20 or whatever to like have like a $20 fee plus pay the lifeguard, and then you get
Right.
just an area of
An
the
area.
grass and then,
Right.
a couple tables or whatever reserved
Yeah.
that are
For
for
a
the party.
certain number of hours.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
for
gonna have a
certain
meeting
amount.
on Thursday with all the kids
Are you?
at 3 o'clock. And we're all going to the pool because they're gonna finish cleaning everything. And I had the DPW do some shelving and storing things, and I picked up some items, and we want to go over all the prices, and the cash register man couldn't make it to our meeting on, was that Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, last Thursday, whatever it was, I'm losing my days. And he's gonna train everybody.
Oh,
So,
well, if Tom could drive by then, I'll be there.
okay.
Thursday at 3.
3.
We could come pick you up too, darling.
Yeah,
That's an
we
option,
should.
yeah. Yeah, my goodness, that's not a
Okay.
problem.
I mean,
Okay.
does this sound reasonable to
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
as a way to
Well,
generate
what
extra revenue too?
what I wanted to do is talk to Katie though, she may already do something like this.
Mm.
So that's why I want to talk with her a little bit more and see what, get the feel.
Yeah.
It's directly able to have a party.
You know, and then when people come for, you know, they walk up doors and come with the party, okay,
Right.
go on in.
Right.
And they should provide like a list so that they know how many are coming.
Right.
Maybe
And-
the ones get special colored bands.
The band.
Right.
Give me a point what's going on with that guy.
Three things, maybe four. Street department did, deal up there, Murray and Shoemaker. Well, they got to start. Great job. Kudos to Squirtle, help us a lot. Real lot. I come to find our street department has nothing. Nothing. So we want them to do stuff, they have no tools. Nothing. So we as a council need to start making decisions as to where do we want them to go with things. Because beyond shovels and rakes and stuff, they don't really have, they have stuff, but they don't have everything, the tools that they need. They do not have the tools available to them to complete that job.
What's the average cost when we have a contract out to have like a storm with them? What's the average cost?
That would be about $4,500.
Okay.
45,
Okay.
45, 50, 800
And
bucks.
what's the cost of materials for it?
Oh, no, I don't know those risers are.
Did that just come?
Just under 1,000
Yeah.
for the greens.
The risers are great.
Yeah.
Wow,
So we're
pretty
looking
cheap.
at like say $3,000 in labor and materials. I mean, $3,000 in labor and profit for,
No, you got
No.
$1,000 in risers, you're gonna have another couple hundred in modified. That would be-
And your concrete and,
You're gonna
okay.
pay $500
Oh, yeah.
for concrete, you need lumber to form the curbs.
we didn't even have a steel grate to put over the hole. Thank God Verizon helped us with that too, because trust me,
It's
So
like
if you're not talking material, you're just talking tools.
tools.
right, well, I was
Just-
just trying to get to the point of, okay, what are we paying essentially in labor and profit to have another company do this, where we can do it ourselves? That's what I was,
well, depending on the type that it is, number one, like, we have that one right there that we're, just telling you, at least probably about 5,000, maybe 6, till we're all said and done. But my thoughts are this, you expect them to even, they don't even have a concrete saw, okay? They're about $1,000. And Joe said, oh, use liquid fuels. Well, I have things already out of liquid fuels that are being used to pay for things. It's not just like we have just extras. They don't even have decent shovels and,
They don't even have a jumping jack to back up the hole.
no.
I will loan mine, I don't really care. You got to do a dollar lease agreement, so if they get hurt, they snap, break their foot, can't turn around and sue me. But they're welcome to mine. But still, otherwise they're gonna have to go to United Rental. It's $90 for the day. They need it for probably 4 hours.
Is this stuff that they should have had all along? and
Well, if
never
you
did,
anticipated them to do this type of work, which I was under the assumption when I
Yes.
came here, the
Sure.
street department was going to do more of this, so we wouldn't pay for contracted services. So how are you expecting anyone to do anything without proper tools?
Well, I agree with
And
that.
that's one of the things we've been talking about.
I don't think you want a
again and
fireman to
again
go
and again.
without a
Reducing our
shovel
contracted
or-
services and having our street department do it
Right, do
themselves.
more things, yeah.
And granted, the initial
They're
outlay,
trying very hard to do a lot more.
Yeah.
the initial outlay is gonna be big. But, we're
Right.
looking, again, something down the road.
that's what I was trying to get at all along. How much are we gonna, what's our payback period on this, you know? Like,
Never, you'll never get paid for your tools.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying,
I think he means based on the types of jobs, if they were to get all the tools that they need, how long of a time would that turn around to pay it off of what
Never.
we?
My exact words, never.
so will
You
all
could
of
start
the
that
labor have
small.
contractors?
No, you could start that sod, buy a sod this week.
And-
Start that sod 3 weeks from now. Poof, there goes the motor. There's
Yeah,
$400
it could
bucks.
happen.
You can snap a shovel. I'm a firm believer. I buy my shovels across there. I pay $30 more a shovel, but in 4 years, as long as that name's still on that shovel, I take it over to him and Scott and just scrap it off the shovel.
I believe you get what they for.
That's true.
You know, and it sounds crazy, but you're gonna pay $90 for a shovel at Scott's. But I've snapped handles off shovels and I've taken them back 4 or 5 years later. Scrap them, go grab another one, you can scrap them on the dock.
So the basic
Can't go
question
walls
is,
with people.
if we get quality equipment like this, somewhere down the road, it does become cost effective for us.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Instead of always,
But it's not gonna be
because
anytime
we're lucky
soon.
Squaresville went along to help us.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
lucky that Verizon did it.
Yes.
Otherwise, we bring in a private contractor.
That probably would have, John probably would have cost us about $7,500.
I would say six.
Well, if we didn't have Verizon's operation though, they didn't put their intake lever at,
Well,
with those,
I would say
the
six.
conduit.
how about we do this? You're on,
Contract me for
you're on, you're on,
I'll do them all day long.
you're on the street, right?
What's that?
You're on the, because Betty's not, here. You're on the street committee, right?
No.
Okay, but,
I
what,
am.
okay, what I would ask you to do in conjunction with Rick and Bobby Warner, sit down, develop a list of a good set of, let's call them starter tools.
Okay.
But for lack of better words, and I don't mean to interrupt.
This is your expertise.
They don't know what we want.
And that's
a
what we have
brief
to
conversation
correct.
with them. They didn't have lifting guys to lift those risers. It sounds silly. Those risers are about 400 pounds a piece. They didn't even have lifting guys. I gave Danny Perdikas a ride up in my pickup up to Squaresville DPW garage to go get the lifting guys because we don't have it. Like, oh, we'll just run up to the shop and grab some. All right, well, we'll jump in my truck. We'll run up. So, you know what I mean? Those lifting knives, now we only need pins for there and a couple bucks. But if you need the lifting knives for basins, they're $300 a piece.
Even to take a storm grate off, do you know what they do? They wrap a chain around it and lift it off the floor.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, but I know other places they have tools that, I mean, it's easier for them. We don't really have them.
So what we need is some kind of a list of the basics
Well, we
that a
need,
street department, the basic kind of equipment that a street department should have to do those kind of things that would need to be done here, like,
but we need council to say what you want them to do. Because
well, okay.
seriously, like, I had called Rick because I said, Rick, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know he has some experience in that field.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that the guys work, they're like, Barbara, we've never done this work. And I said, what? I didn't know they never did any of that work. I called Rick and I kind of put him on the spot. And I said, I need your help to say, do you think they can possibly do this? And that's when we called Swayersville too, because they don't even have a backbone. You gotta think of, you know, what you have to do with those type of pieces of equipment for storm basins. I mean, we have how many of them that are bad?
Okay,
The whole town has
Just one big thing that would be like a, kind of like get the most out of your money.
Here-
I mean, like
Here's the way I'm gonna say it. I mean, obviously, everybody at this table knows I don't know. You can't sit there and say, well, you can go buy a circular saw, you can go buy a cordless drill, you can go buy a sledgehammer this month. Next month, you can go buy this. Because as their job rises, we need to give them X amount of dollars. Bob is an intelligent man. Here's your budget. This is what you get. You start going outside your realm. It's not a free-for-all. There's a reason we need to know reasons as to why you need these tools. You know,
But I even asked to get different tires for the loader last year, and Joe took it right out of the budget.
well, I'll be honest with you, there's my next point. The loader is on, you're supposed to service those machines every 300 to 400 hours. Some guys do 5, we're about 9 in the loader.
Yeah, but that's been serviced.
Not
That's what Bob told me.
3 weeks ago, that was not serviced. And that was 900 hours, and that was his words to me saying, I want my loader serviced.
He didn't say that was 900 hours.
The skid steer, which is a brand, it's not brand new, we got it on a grant. That is a state-of-the-art piece of equipment that I drool when I see it, because I would love to own that skid steer. It is premium.
Yeah, they
skid
say
steer.
it's very good.
And that's why I think Bob told me that was like $200 to $300.
Over?
So, I mean, you know, right
There's
there,
stuff that I think.
that right there is
First of all,
stuff that
are they
we,
notifying us that it's time for
Bob
this
has
to be done?
notified us and we keep that, no, we can't do it, we can't do it, we can't do it.
Oh,
Who's he notifying?
Yeah, who's he notifying?
Well,
I
I know he
remember
told Joe.
discussing this before.
I don't want to throw Joe under the bus,
I
I'm
know
not
we
throwing
told
anybody
Joe.
under the bus, but change of guards, change of hands, that's all I'm gonna say. And it doesn't matter. We're we're addressing
Something
it
we
now.
need to do.
We're addressing it
Yes,
now.
absolutely, this needs to be taken care of.
So here's the problem that we face. We want our street department to be able to do more and more work in the borough, which I think is only right and what the taxpayer deserve, instead of always going out and, number one, worst case scenario, contracting somebody to do it, paying through the nose, and number two, going to other municipalities on our knees and begging them for help. So we want them to have our own equipment. Problem, I think we would all agree upon that. Problem that we face, we don't know what equipment we need right now. That would arise almost on an as-need basis, that if something happened, Bob would come in and say, I need this and this. Okay? It's gonna cost us $1,500 for this piece of equipment, which leads to the problem, where do we get the money from? So right now, we're between a rock and a hard place.
Correct.
What about the USDA loan and bond?
What about,
For the payment loan?
what about it?
Can we use some of the money from that to buy this equipment as part of the maintenance that goes along with the?
That's specific for road resurfacing.
Okay, only for road
Sewer
resurfacing.
rehab.
Okay. Nothing for maintenance equipment, Bob?
But you know what? Bob does know what what if you were to say to Bob, what's the most common thing that happens in the borough that you would like to be able to do, but don't have the equipment for?
I'll agree with you,
Because
Bob.
maybe you don't want to take this storm drain for the example of things that we need, because maybe that doesn't happen a lot. But Bob would know what's the biggest problem that he gets faced with where he doesn't have the proper tools for. Start from there.
Well, I am gonna say that it is storm basins, because Bob and I have had this discussion.
Okay.
Well, here
It's a big problem.
comes the other problem. As you all said, it's news to us,
Yes.
right? I think one of the things that we have to do in the immediate future, okay, I know we have them floating around somewhere, is a flow chart, managerial chart, call it whatever you want. I think
I have an
eventually
organization.
we, pardon me?
I think I have an organization.
Yeah, but I think essentially what we have to do, in order to make this borough run efficiently the way that we want to, okay, it'll be a year next month that we brought on a borough manager.
Yeah.
I look upon the borough manager as a position of, you run the borough on a day-to-day basis. And what happens is, the supervisors, department heads, when there is a problem, they go to the borough manager.
With the remark,
Okay, this, this thing of, and I don't mean disrespect to any department heads, okay, so please don't take it that way. Maybe that worked well when we had a borough secretary back in the 40s and 50s. But in order to get this borough running, so we can get done like this, instead of, well, a work session, I need this, I need everything that. We have to do something, and the sooner we do it, that, I don't know if you put it on paper or.
it's already in their job description. That's what we
Okay,
said.
so what we have, so what we have to do then,
It
is tell
I
these
have
people,
one
look,
problem
you don't
with
go to any member of council, you have a borough manager, here's who you go to.
You allow me to
And
only
this way,
spend up to
if Bart
$2,500.
has a question on something with the street department, we're lucky right now, we have somebody on council that has expertise. If it's a problem with something else, she goes to the engine quad 3, okay? And that's the point that we have to get across, okay?
Well, I just don't even understand, take this the wrong way. Bob didn't come to me, right? I went to him.
Okay,
Just so you, I don't know where you're going with that, what you just said there, but I went to Bob.
okay.
I'm like, what do you got?
But still, he should be the one most concerned, tell her.
Well, we have had this discussion. I asked them for a wish list for budget, if you remember when we had our first budget meetings last year, back in August. Bob gave me a wish list for all the things for the DPW, for the pool, all the problems with the water lines, all the pump issues, the electrical issues. We talked about all that,
Okay.
and it was all thrown out. We don't have money for that.
Well, I think, as borough manager, and,
My budget was changed 9 times, remember that?
well, I'm gonna get to that. Okay,
It's changed a lot.
I'm putting you on the hot spot, but I'm trying to keep you on the hot spot. And, as Rob and I said, and everybody else here agrees, we have to get to the point that in her job description, it says, prepare a budget and present it to council. Bingo, do it. And he said, I'll tell you quite honestly, I'll say this publicly, I'll say it to the news, I'll say it to the camera. The way that we went through the budget last time, okay,
I'll never
was
do that.
absolutely hilarious.
It was ridiculous.
Okay, it was the budget of the minute.
Yeah.
Okay?
He was asking for retaliatory revisions on that. You were.
Yeah, as long as other people were too.
Okay, you're right. I mean, that was ridiculous from this standpoint.
Well, and the only reason I was is because of other revisions coming in. But I think, we have to get to the point that, Barbara sits down with, she tells council, okay, any suggestions you have for a budget, they're due to me by, I don't know, October 1st. Okay? And she will have the budget in place by November 1st. Okay? And at that part, basically all we do is, and again, I don't want to get into the budget in a minute, okay? Because most of us were guilty of tweaking and changing. Myself included, I'll take the blame for that, okay? But somehow, we either have to accept the entire budget or reject the entire budget. But by a certain date, we can't go meeting on December 31st at noon
That's right.
and pass something out
You could have had
that
your
we weren't
budget passed.
comfortable with, just for the sake of having one. Either we're gonna let her do her job or not.
Well, I agree 100% with that. I mean, that's why we hired Barbara.
Right.
And part of that, why we put that in that job description, was to prepare and submit a budget.
Then what we as a, what we as a body are then going to have to do is, in September or October, is give Barbara guidelines on which to form that budget around. If we're willing to accept a tax increase, if so, what percentage tax increase is that going to be? I think that's a lot of what give her those parameters earlier and then let her build a budget that fits within those parameters.
I just want to say, I was all for no layoffs, no cutbacks, raise the tax on this, because I know where we're at.
And I know
We're
that-
gonna have to raise taxes this year, and if anybody sits at the table doesn't think that we're gonna have to, I don't know what they're thinking.
I will say one
Because
thing.
they have to,
It's a
we have to
fact.
figure out a way, because we have no budget.
It's a fact of why, it's nationwide, okay?
I will say one thing, everybody has to look at, we had lots of revenue, we had more expenses. We are gonna have a lot more expenses this year when I get that time.
And I can understand why that is, because we haven't had it in the past, and we should have.
And a lot of the expenses are gonna have to do with equipment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's not just one department, it's everywhere.
Yes.
But of course, that's for a discussion, okay? This is for a discussion during June, July,
Budget,
August.
right.
Okay, but we brought it up, and I'll put the onus on you. Okay. Anything else, Rick?
Oh, yeah, actually. I went to the West Side composting meeting, brief update, changing of the guards at the county, 28th.
We don't have, we have a tentative, but we don't know if we're definitely going yet. I'm waiting for confirmation.
Barbara put a very nice presentation together for me and her, whoever's presented. For that meeting, tentatively for the 28th,
For the compost.
for the composting with the county.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, Chris Billman's taken over Joe Gibbons' place temporarily.
So that's kind of at bay right now for this, at this point. Went to the composting association meeting. Bonnie's making a copy of their thing. I think it went very well. There's some gray areas, in my opinion, and some of their meetings aren't up to 100% snuff yet. And I think they're growing and they need to learn. They've been doing it 16 months now or so. And everything's been kind of talked about and they're slowly getting there. They're just not full, taking meeting minutes and that kind of thing yet. They just started advertising. However, to me, in my opinion, it sounds phenomenal. I think everything sounds, if you don't mind, I think it sounds great for us. We're looking at what was discussed at the meeting. Squirtlesville and us are looking at jumping in. Because of the way the grant was done, there's going to be an additional cost to us. That number is amongst 4. That number would go amongst 6.
What is the number?
So it's up a little over $2,000 per ton.
Correct. However, there's things in there that I said that need to go up. Transportation would have to go up. It was at $975 that they actually spent. That's gonna have to go up. The advertisement bill is gonna have to go up. Oil and maintenance, that, yeah, those numbers are gonna end up going up. You know what I mean? But right now, the carrying balance is $8,916.58 in 16 months. I think for roughly, let's even say we spent the first year $3,000, and our second year might be $2,500.
That's still money that's saved instead of
It's
down the,
it's a no-brainer.
yeah.
However, this is the downside that I see. Karen's washed. Is that her name?
Parents wants.
Karen's washed. She's pretty much part. She runs it. She does all the paperwork. She's
I
not.
met with her back in the fall, and she's very good.
She is not taking it down.
No.
And she's running this thing for everything. In my opinion, she needs to be paid.
I agree.
And this is where I see a problem coming, because it's not in here now, and what's that pay gonna be? It was kinda, very briefly mentioned at the meeting, but it was kinda, whatever, it was just kind of shunned over. Beyond that, maybe this would go up to, even if we spent, in my opinion, $3,200, $3,000 a year after our second year, it could be a really good thing.
I'm all for it.
Just the cost of the machine, if we rented that machine ourselves, it would be about $1,400 for the week, plus our
And
transport.
we need it a couple times a year, right?
Well,
You should have it at least 3 or 4 times a year.
I'll disagree with Barbara, and I think twice. But
But
that's
still, that's $2,800 right there.
That's plus transportation,
Right.
and we're still gonna spend the fuel anyways, so he can't even cover fuel. But with this, we joined this association. Adam Goldberg, he maintains the machine, he runs the machine, he knows the machine. Very knowledgeable young man, extremely nice guy. He comes with that machine, so to speak. He's gonna train our men how to run it. He's not gonna let them touch that machine unless they know every part of it, know what to look for, how to do it. And it's just kind of part of the composting association. 2, it's safety. We're not gonna take our men and throw them next to a machine that can grind them and throw them into little pieces. Adam's gonna make sure they know the safety of it, because he's kind of the trainee on the machine, so to speak. So I think we're getting the safety aspects, the training aspects, plus we're getting the use and a qualified technician teaching them. But that's just my, you guys are welcome to come to the meeting if you want, and see it for yourself. And once we get a little further into this, I think this might be something that we should really look towards.
You got my full support.
I mean, I know it sounds crazy, $3,000, whatever, but I know firsthand, just dumping down there, we're gonna make that back tenfold. I really think we are. I mean, it's still early, we still have some time yet. We can't give them a commitment because we don't know where we're standing at this point. But that's one of
And
the
even though we
things.
can't do anything formally tonight, we can at least, go Rick to keep.
I'll continue to go to the meetings,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
And if you need something to act on, at the June meeting,
Just bring it.
yeah.
Well, no, I actually told them where we're at, and we're up against right now, Jimmy County, EDP, they're still up against it. They actually gave me the agreement, so I'm gonna actually hand this out to Barbara, so when it comes time, maybe she can throw this in the file and have Sam review it.
I'll actually send it over to you.
Well, I don't know if we should go that far and pay his fees to review it or whatever, but we're not looking for that far, I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, let's wait until we have something to work with.
Why bog them down with something that could be very much nonsense?
True. Anything else?
One more thing, this is my duty. Now, I knew I had some stuff.
Okay, I finished it over some.
I'll be quick. It came to my attention in town, I've been accused of something I'm running my business in a residential neighborhood. And upon speaking with Steve, I actually reverted to a lot of people, a couple people at this table, I said, well, if I'm doing it, I used myself, I used Boyd, not that Boyd is, I said, I actually used Mr. McLaughlin as well. I said, if I'm doing it, the way we have things written up in town, there's gray area there. I said, Stephen, tell me right now, am I doing something illegal or am I not? He said, you're in the gray. I can't say you are and I can't say you're not. So us at this table, I want to make a decision because I'll tell you what, I'm about had it because this is my third round with this already because of politics. And I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the nonsense. I'm sick of politics
So
all around.
that you're,
Yes. And
but isn't that just like your home office? Like,
I have an office in my home, which is not really used. But I explained it to this. I explained it this way. Just because my tools are inside my truck, that's no different than you coming home with
that's
your
no different than
briefcase.
me keeping my tool case.
And that's the scenario I used, and
I don't see
it got thrown into proportions where I'm accusing somebody else, and I said, "Ooh, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make a statement. In my opinion, my business is just a stopping point. My business is conducted at your home. My business is conducted at wherever I go. Just because my truck with my tool is parked there, I don't know, and I don't want to say either way. And I'll,
Now, we do have there is on the books, isn't there an ordinance about commercial vehicles being parked on the streets?
correct. I
And there's
fall under
also
those
a list
guidelines.
of approved home occupations,
Yes, and none of us. It's a
Yeah.
psychiatrist.
like beauty shops.
Beauty
and
shop.
stuff like that. There's
And it's an accountant. I think it's an accountant.
Accounting, yeah.
No, in this day and age, everything is changing. My daughter works for Cigna, she works from home.
And
Bob
that's,
works from home, it's
I
a
work
new
from home 3 days a week,
generation.
yeah.
The Auditor General's office just
to-
closed in Scranton because every Auditor General has to work from their home right now.
this is my point.
We have to look at the code then, that's, and I agree.
I'm sick of this. Politics. Every time politics start playing in this town, I'm getting accused. It's by one person, whatever.
Oh, you're not.
No, you're not.
I'm sick of it. I've about had it. I'm done. It's over with. We at this table need to do something. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know how we could vote on it because we're all guilty of what we're voting on.
So what does the ordinance read right now?
No, that's what we have to look at.
You can only operate those 3 businesses in town, all the rest of them are kind of illegal. But
There's a list of what kind of business you can operate out of your home.
I believe it's an attorney, psychiatrist, the salon.
I think you're right, this
And like you said, anywhere that you're doing work that you're getting paid for is not out of the house on Walnut Street. It's
But there's gray
It's
area. My cell phone is what's advertised in the phone book. Well, my cell phone's with me where I am, but my bills come to my house. There's a lot of gray area. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to portray that I am a lawyer. That's why I'm not a lawyer.
Honestly, I think the best thing that you can do is review the ordinance.
Yeah.
I've
Look
never
at the
seen it.
suggestion, yes, look at the suggestions, that the attorney is going to give you, because, like Bonnie just said,
What attorney, Sam?
our attorney,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because if our ordinance has to be changed to fit the 2013 year, or 2020 year, 25, whatever, we've got to step up to the plate, and we have a lot of ordinances that really do need to be reviewed.
Just because I sit at this table, I'm not asking for any help here.
No,
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll do what I gotta do to make it right. But I think I'm sick of politics. I'm not a politician. I think everybody knows that.
It's not just you. I've had complaints about people out of their businesses, out of their homes, and that they're doing this, and they're doing that. And I tell everybody, when I came here and I heard all these complaints, I said, put a complaint in writing.
Yeah.
When I went to the code office, I said, if you get a complaint, I want it in writing. Otherwise, it's not a valid complaint. I'm sorry, I'm tired of hearing this. Yes, I'm tired of hearing this one did this, and this one did this, and like Rick just said, politics around this certain time, they start this up or they start that up. Believe me, the best thing you're gonna do is look at your ordinance, have your attorneys advise you as to what, we can talk to the Boroughs Association and get other
I
copies
was just
of.
gonna say, it's gotta be a very current topic.
Right,
that
that
other
other
towns
ordinances
are
have changed
encountering.
through other boroughs. We can at least base something like that on what this council feels and then have solicitor review it. It's gonna cost us a little bit, I'm sorry, but.
Out of, you know, when I think of an illegal home business, it always, in Luzerne, we used to have the guy who has the garage in the back of his house and he fixes cars at night.
No.
And he charges money for it, but when the code enforcement officer, I'm just doing that for my friends and my family. But that's the kind of, he's really doing, you know.
My
I'm
customers,
gonna say this, I don't know.
When I worked for Berkheimer, I used to investigate businesses all the time. I investigated nudist colonies, to stripper clubs, to everything, believe me. And businesses, there's guidelines as to whether they're, the way they do transient business, if there's e-commerce, look at the people on the internet that have these businesses. This all has to be changed because the ordinances are just too old. They don't have these types of things in them. That's your first step.
You don't have any customers coming to your house, right?
absolutely not.
Well,
He does everything from the phone where,
yeah,
Like,
He
where
gets
do
a
I sign
call.
your contracts? I give you your house
Yeah.
every time.
yeah.
it's not like it's, you're going to the doctor's office and you're seeing Rick Camus and you're paying $20 at his, whatever his residence is.
And when he does the work, he's gotta get paid, you gotta send him bill someplace.
Yep.
I'm not asking for any favors here.
No.
I'm just, I just want this put to rest of it, because I'm sick of politics.
No, I think it's a good point that you brought up, Rick, because the fact of the matter is, there are so many, gray areas. Let's say, back in the day when I was still in the classroom teaching, if I had a student come to my house for private tutoring, okay, and I charged them X amount of dollars, that was a business where they came into my home.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, now, did I have a business license for it at the time? No. The business that I do now, granted, I don't have any clients coming into my home, but that's where I do my research, that's where I do conversations with, potential clients and actual clients. That's where I make all my invoices, stuff like that. But the point that you made is, there's nobody actually coming into his house.
There are people that are on the road with a laptop computer and a
Yeah.
cell phone, and that's their, pretty much,
But
equipment
even,
to run their business.
even if it was a case
Their vehicle.
where somebody came in, oh, Rick, could I meet you at your house and you at least tell me, was it gets to the point, unfortunately, that it's ridiculous because it's such a gray area.
I
Okay?
think you have to look to it, how much it's affecting everyone else. The guy with the garage in the back of his house, he's affecting his neighbors with motors running and fumes and so forth. What is Rick's
Yeah.
keeping his truck there and,
His
you know,
tools or
it's not
whatever,
affecting
it's not-
anyone.
It's nitpicking.
That should be
Right.
that should be the
He has to have
I'm going to say something from a residential standpoint, and I don't know your layout there, Rick. I don't know if you have, how much equipment you have down there, but if you do have heavy pieces of equipment on the road, taking up parking spaces, if you are starting up your vehicles because they're diesel and you have to let them run for an extra long time, that could potentially.
Those things you just said do not apply.
And- but you could see-
You see my trailer? The only thing parked on my property is obviously my pickup truck, which is inside my garage bay with the door closed.
Right.
And my white trailer is parked alongside my garage where I hitch to it every morning at 7:30.
But you could see, someone who did have that type of equipment, that would cause some problems in the residential.
Yeah, but
Not
we
to
all-
say
we
that
all-
you particularly, but
Right.
let's say if they did have a bunch of equipment and they were, they did
Well,
have.
there's already ordinances that cover that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
can't
because
park
you
commercial vehicles
You can't do that, you can't do that.
on the street, you can't run a diesel, there's already stuff that's already covered.
And that doesn't, my neighbors dislike me very much. I will say, they do, and it is what it is, I don't really care, I don't.
Right. No,
I didn't move there from there to be my friends, that's where I
And I'm
live.
not accusing you of that,
No, I
but
know.
I'm just saying I could see how potentially.
And I agree with you 1,000%, but this I will say, everybody, because this was my last thing, and I'll step off my soapbox. This is my last point. Everybody here knows me, I'm very very clean person. I do run my pressure washer. And unless my dirt is more contaminated than somebody else's dirt, Frank's or yours or Roy's or yours, what the hell is our EMA director appointing me saying I'm polluting the river for? I need to know. What in God's name? I got a phone call from our EMA director saying that I'm polluting the river because I'm washing my truck and my piece of equipment in the street.
He came to me.
Well, I got a phone call, and let me tell you something. I don't know. Is that right? Am I polluting the river because I'm washing my vehicles?
If stuff's going down the sewer, yeah.
So by
If I'm washing my car, on my car, it's going in the sewer, I'm polluting it too.
I don't know about that ordinance that,
Yeah, remember, you couldn't even drain your pools into
yeah, you
the storm drains.
can't, according to this, you can't, yeah, you can't let water run out of the gutter, you gotta have a rain barrel and.
Your stormwater management
That's that
ordinance,
ordinance.
the stormwater management
I'm not
ordinance that was
disagreeing.
passed,
But I mean, that was,
um,
that whole thing, you never should have adopted any of that.
Well, we had to.
we
I
had
was just gonna
to.
say, it has been controversial for years. Before they even brought it, I mean, it took this council almost 2 years to actually pass that ordinance. We were the last, I think the last municipality to pass it.
And I think we were too, because we didn't want to.
And, exactly. And not to say that what you feel is not right, but with all the changes with the Clean Streams Act, all of these things are adding up, and I think that's where maybe he was trying to go with that. But
Once again,
irregardless-
politics are playing involved here, and if we as a council need to make something and put it on our books that we are not allowed to wash our vehicles in the street, well then I think we should do it. But don't bring politics into it as an official.
But I also asked for that in writing, and I haven't received it.
So that's all I'm saying.
If
So
it's a complaint, it has to be in
You
writing.
think you're not running for re-election,
Yeah.
you'd be hammered even more.
I mean, I don't know, am I wrong by saying this? I think you need to bring it and put it at a table before you sit and start singling people out. As an official, that is unofficial. You officially can't make action,
Realistically, Rick, for everything in.
because we have nothing in our books.
Yeah, for everything that you're being quote unquote accused of, it probably applies to 75 to 98% of the people in this borough.
Well, that's
That
why.
have
There's a lot of
lawn-
different
that-
scenarios
That have
that
lawn
apply, I
service
agree.
come in and put stuff on the lawn,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and then when it rains, and it goes into the storm drain.
Well, that's my whole point, like,
Let's discuss it to see what can be done with our attorney, because, I think the ordinance will have to be changed.
But I agree, the things, if there are complaints, they need to be in writing. And if
Oh, yeah.
that they need to be followed up, show
And
me
the other- and the
in
other thing
writing
too, Rick,
first. Let
It's,
somebody come up and say,
it's only one man's opinion.
I have an issue.
well, if I'm wrong, once again, let's do it across the board. Don't
Right.
single me out until action is brought to a table. As an official that is kind of unofficial, there's ways you gotta follow things. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy at this table, but I don't know.
Well, see, whenever somebody makes an accusation, like I was told there was, somebody had accused somebody of saying this was being done, I said, give Rick a call and let him know what's going on.
I'm off my soapbox for your time, but
It's not a soapbox, it's points that are all well taken.
They need
Because,
to be changed.
You know, why should you? You're not the only contractor in town, why?
I was just gonna say-
I'm not the only one that washes my car in town either.
I was just
Why
gonna
did you
say,
single that?
I can't just look at you with your business, because how many other businesses are within the community that may do the same thing? I don't care what construction company it is, or, they've all got things that they're doing, I'm sure that Rick does, that are normal. But
And I'm
are they doing
And they
it
probably
properly?
don't even realize that.
Maybe they don't even know.
And I'm telling you what, if
We could accuse Frank Shalarski doing the same thing in the garage behind the brother's house. Right?
well, look at our street department,
Yeah.
washing their trucks.
But the fire department,
Fire department,
Yeah.
police department.
So we can accuse ourselves.
I mean, if we're gonna push this, we're gonna have to put filter socks, put them on inlets, put them on tops, and we have huge investments to make. If we're gonna push this,
We don't have money to do that.
I'm just telling you,
Either.
I just,
Maybe this will all be over by Wednesday or sometime in November.
I think a Tuesday at about 8:30.
But no, you're not on the soapbox, your points are very well taken, and they should be brought into discussion.
That
And
is
it's
all.
not to mean that you're using your business, say, per se, to be singled out. It could be many businesses in the borough.
Well, thank you.
If you're gonna be accused of being multiple other businesses, I don't want to say that. And you run the task, okay? It's totally unfair, prejudicial, but let's just say you're a little bit better than that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Try to pick your finger.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? I have one item, I was gonna bring it up under executive session, but I'd much rather everybody from council be here before I bring it up, so I have nothing right now. Well,
I have a couple things. We had a meeting with lifeguards. Had some issues today. The pool pumps were not running properly, and we finally got that straightened out. They're running fine now. We have a parade scheduled for the 25th. Fireworks Saturday night.
Oh, they are Saturday night?
9 o'clock.
Don't we normally vote on getting permission for that, for the fireworks? We normally do. Yeah.
What I've been told is that as long as there's a certificate of insurance provided, that was provided.
No, we voted in the year, I know we voted in years past to get permission to have a fire department down there and everything.
I don't know anything about that.
Not that I have any problem with it going forward. I just know that we have in the past.
Okay.
Last year.
If anything, then I'm going to suggest that at
Yeah.
the meeting that you ratify that. Because,
after the fact.
well, you're gonna blame it on me, I gave the permission.
Oh, no, and Barb, I'm not saying anyway you did anything wrong. I just know in years past, I mean, you know, we can ratify the actions of.
Because I was told that
Yeah.
this is what the tradition was. I
Yeah, it
said,
is.
where's
It
the
is.
certificate of insurance? He said,
Yeah.
I'll provide that. That was provided. We are additionally insured on there. I have no problems with that, but,
And I think in
that
your
was
capacity as
something
borough
that,
manager, that's something that you can approve.
Right.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a problem.
Years past, we have,
We did have a
we
program.
didn't have a borough manager, but we have done it with this county. This
Yeah,
council had
right.
made it.
But-
The mayor came before us, asked for permission.
If
to-
we can,
But
at
no
our
times
next
are
meeting, bring
changing,
that
so-
up.
And
that I
that's
gave
one of the problems that we
permission,
have.
And that it's ratified by council.
Yes,
Put it on-
that's
put it on the
one of the
agenda.
problems we had before, always having to wait for council to approve something, so you take one day out of the month, waiting for that approval to come through.
Right.
Somebody forgets something, this way, you know, it's in her job description, do it.
It's Saturday night?
Yes, at 9 o'clock.
Last week is that.
And Monday's the parade. Where are they starting? At the Little League, the Kingston,
The parade starts at Market Street.
Market Street? Okay. I also
Yeah, the race in the
had,
morning too.
I'm sorry?
The,
The race, yeah. Isn't that at 10 o'clock?
No.
9? I don't have my flyer in front of me to get the times, sorry. The parade is 10?
Starts at 10:30.
Starts at 30.
And then there's that ceremony right after in the center.
At the cemetery.
And they have a race before the parade.
9 o'clock, yeah, you said, yeah, 9 o'clock. There was a vendor who had asked about having the Greek food and everything. We have not had confirmation if they have a certificate of insurance, so if they don't have that by what, 7:30 tonight, we're gonna say?
Yeah.
If Bonnie doesn't have an email, or I don't have an email, that's not gonna happen.
Again, that comes under your jurisdiction.
I can't be playing around with this stuff, without having the proper insurances and everything. It's, we don't put the borough in any kind of liability situation. And, the, signs forbidden. I could have had that done for the $975. For this Friday, that could have been given to our guys to install. If you want a wooden sign, I think you looked at the costs when I sent the emails, it could be up to like $3,000. I have to let either Jungle Graphics know or plus signs, no.
And they were never done in that, right?
Well, not for a wooden sign, that's 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
And Rob, I respect that you thought about, having somebody do it, but we don't have a router to do any kind of.
Well, and all I was saying is, you can get a router for, $250 for a real good one.
I don't even know if our department is crafted to be able to do anything like that.
I was just throwing that out there as,
And that's why I said,
You want something professional. It's gonna be there for a long time.
hopefully
Oh,
that's
I know.
another, 20-some years or 25 years, I don't know, but I would like to narrow it down so that whatever preference you like, I really like the yellow sign with the cranberry lettering,
That was metal.
but that was on metal, but that can be done in wood. But I didn't get a final price from A Plus because she was trying to get the estimator to give her a better price. If you looked at what I got from Jungle Graphics, they were, if you wanted carved, it's $1,000 per side. If you wanted sandblasted, it's $1,500 per side. And we have 2 sides here. So, well, they can make
Prices and everything,
a few dollars on it, but they're doing the work. That's their specialty, But the thing is, that's not in the budget. If you want me to do solicitations or something for something like that, I need to know that.
I give you the $975 in the budget.
That's not the budget. It's another $1,000. So this is part of the problem where, people don't realize how tight things really are. They think, oh, we're spending money for this, we're spending money for that, but if you don't have even a little wiggle room in that budget for something like this that would come up, you can't even say, well, I have an extra $200 to put toward that. Right now, this will lead into the next subject, but I'd rather come to some term with this sign business because I'd like to have a date picked that we can say, let's do a proclamation and do something nice for them. Maybe the 4th of July.
That would be
I still wish to order the sign now.
Well, that's my point. I need to order the sign, so if I could say that please get everything together for the meeting on Monday night, June 3rd, okay? I want direction. You don't want to spend this, you do want to spend this, you want a wooden sign, you don't. You see what's out there, you know what's there. I want to find a decision.
And again, the problem was, we talked about this either in executive session or either during a work session or at a public meeting that it was near.
Right.
And just forgot about it until I remember she wasn't here at the last meeting. And yeah, it's on a time crunch right now. But your point is well taken. If we're gonna do this, let's do it the right way.
Yeah. And
Instead,
I feel
would it be nice to do it after the parade on Monday? Sure. But you know what? We have the 4th of July coming up. We have Labor Day coming up.
Let's do it right and
It would just be
let's-
for a day, it wouldn't be in conjunction with a
Yeah,
parade.
even if we do something called like Benny Masari Day,
Yeah.
okay? And let's do it up the right way.
Yeah, but you're
You
still
know,
not giving the answer on what kind of sign you want.
Yeah, we
That's
can.
why I said I want the answer
We can
Monday.
give them a proclamation,
Yeah.
we can decide, are we gonna try to find money somewhere? Are we gonna solicit
That's what I
donations
just said.
from either the public and or different businesses?
Even that's risky though. I mean, we're
We're on
on
the-
a time frame. I mean, if we said we're gonna solicit donation,
If I
Is
solicit
the
donations,
anybody in October?
the Emerson Association.
44 days, so they completely dissolved.
Yeah, they're pretty much done.
I'm just gonna say, yes, I think we should set our date. My opinion is I would like a wood sign.
Yeah.
I think it will last you a lot longer, to be
I
honest.
think wood signs are classier looking, I mean,
It fits
and
better in the park.
and it's better in the park rather than a piece of metal.
I'm kind of very adamant about our turn colors on that sign.
Her what?
Earth tone colors.
Different colors.
The greens and the browns?
Yeah,
The
something,
burgundies and-
well, yeah, maroon or burgundy, I'm colorblind, whatever, but at least something that's earth tone.
See, I'm kind of leaning more towards the red and the white, just being.
I just don't want anything to pop.
colors.
I don't want anything.
Well, red and white are beautiful colors, and
I talked about that too. No one gave me any direction as to whatever. I took it upon myself and I said, give me something a little bright because that's a nice, bright
yeah.
sign to look at as you're coming down the avenue, you're going up the avenue. And that's the reason why I did that. I said, how about something like that?
I think we should throw something on the website. I think we should solicit some of the people that we all already know, see if they'll be willing to donate a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. I don't know, I think we got a search date, Betty's given this community how many years? I don't know, you know, and she's
I'd
not.
like to see a nice
What?
formal proclamation done so that you can present her with something. It doesn't take Sam very much to draw
Set
something.
time up to get the news media here.
Yeah.
Do it right.
Why don't you do it for Labor Day?
I mean,
Really?
whatever,
how
I think
fast-
Betty deserves this.
You
And
know
she's
how
given
fast
us-
it-
For the
July will be here.
4 to 6 week time period for them to even do the sign,
Right.
okay? You're looking at June, you're talking, that's gonna rush into doing it for the 4th of July. You're probably better off to do it for the Labor Day weekend.
If we can raise $1,000, if we come up with 1,500, 2,000 on our own, I don't know. We can do it more. Whatever.
Does anybody know Betty's family? I mean, does any, I know she doesn't have
Really
much
doesn't.
family left, but, you know.
Bucket truck. I don't know.
A car wash, anything.
No, I said that to Richie.
Well, don't discount it because some people would say, oh yeah, I'll pay somebody $5 to clean your car.
That's just my,
My opinion is at least a wooden sign.
Well, that's narrowing it down.
As long as we're not talking,
Major money.
no, I shouldn't say maybe. At least this way we can go with it. We'll put it aside because it's not gonna be able to. They put it in there, now,
With a little bit more time on our hands, too,
Yeah.
maybe we can reach outside.
I called several businesses and I've asked them to get back to me and I haven't got
Good
back.
woodworking specialists, you know, like,
well, maybe I can get
This way, Barbara, you have the time to get people at those two places. You know, give us quotes on a wooden sign, give a quote on one wooden sign, one-sided versus two-sided, okay?
I think we need it two-sided.
Well, I'm
Just
just saying,
say one side,
it's
one
not gonna
side, one
cost, it's not
side.
gonna cost anything to get
If you
a
can
quote.
get a thick piece of wood that you can have it with a router or whatever done that way, yes, you'll have it on both sides.
Right.
But if you can't, the way that it's set up now, it's on these posts and it's just light bulbs.
Yeah.
But I assume we were keeping it basically the same way.
That's what I thought as well.
That's what I thought too, right?
If that's, well, that's
Yeah,
what I
that's what
decided
I
to look
thought.
at.
Just put a different sign that in where that one is.
Basically taking that route.
And then this way,
And it's like $1,000 each side on that one pole.
they can show us, you know, I like your idea of earth tone. It's in the park, okay, you know, keeping the nature
I thought you
theme.
said you don't like your.
I do like it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want anything popping.
We could get something in, you know, in earth tone, see what it'll look like. We could get something in red and white on wood, see what it'll look like, okay?
We'll get it as quick as we can and get the prices as good as we can, but we can see about getting that wood.
Yeah, I'll call around, I'll call some of the mills and see if I can get some 2x12 out of cedar.
That's, I think, what it is.
but would a vendor do something like that?
Yeah, 90% of them will.
Would they would let you bring your own wood?
And then, you
Some of them
know,
will work with me.
if I can get a donation for the lumber, I mean, maybe. I'm not promising I can,
Yeah.
but
At
if
least
I'll
check
make,
out.
I'll make a couple phone calls if I can do it and save us, might save $400. Whatever.
This way, we get it done right, we're not gonna go cheap on it. It's something that we'll be proud to have.
I have a question. Are you going to try and keep this secret from Betty?
Sure.
Well, I
Just, I
If-
mean,
if not,
I didn't
yeah,
say a
that's
word.
what it's
no, I don't think she knows anything yet, but
No, I don't think she
she's
does.
eventually gonna be.
I talked to City Manager, I talked to Skip the other day, and I mean this with all due respect, I love her to death. I think if you told me, she-
Yeah, you're right.
I was trying to play her house the other day, I stopped and I talked to her. Okay, we must have talked for about 20 minutes. And it killed me that what she was telling me, she repeated about 3 times as though she was telling me the first time.
She called me on Thursday, I thought it was Monday.
Why did I do that?
I'm guilty too. What day is it?
Okay, and then, I spoke to the chief today, last week, I guess it was, maybe the week before, we took the, I want to say Ford,
I think I remember that in the email, the heater port went.
yes. Okay, it's got 112,000 miles on it. The garage said, you know, first of all, you've got to take like the dash apart and do all that. The labor could be more. The problem that I have is you really should go to like a dealer for something like that so you don't incur other problems, especially when you're taking the whole entire dash apart. Well, one dealer, they don't really even want to touch it. When I talked to the chief, I said, look, he's asked me, well, what do you do as far as your fleet maintenance? I said, same situation with the budget, okay? There's only X amount of dollars to go around. So I briefly talked to him about every 18 months to 2 years, you should actually have a new vehicle. There are no grants out there for just getting a new vehicle. Okay, sorry, no, that's okay.
You've been practicing.
The point that I'm trying to make is, we've got a plan. We have to put something in place because the expedition won't even pass inspection. Sorry, but that we should put out to bid, get whatever we can get for it. Tires are good on it.
That's what we paid $1 for, right?
Right.
Yeah. You got a year and a half out of it.
Yeah, but you can't put them at risk, then you're down to 3 vehicles, and then now this one out of service, we're down to 2 vehicles, you're gonna be using them for more wear and tear, and it runs a vicious cycle here.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say we need a new police cruiser every year, but you should look at this for 2 years at least, for the mileage that can be put on. What I said to the chief is, he spoke to, I guess, a couple of different dealers and trying to see if, you know, because we currently have this lease, which we pay next year. What could we do to look at another vehicle? Well, he came back with a dealer who gave him prices for a Tahoe for $48.80. I said, no, just goodbye. Goodbye. Don't even come talk to me. And I said a normal cruiser is anywhere between, I'm going to say 30 and 38,000. You can get something, you know, pretty good, different models. I don't know exactly, but
Are you talking on purpose or lease?
I'm talking on a purchase. And I said to him, we can work with the same Ford Motor Company that we dealt with before for lease and see what they offer, but we're paying 6.5% for that lease right now. Okay, you're buying it for $1, but that's a high interest rate, and yes, 6.5%.
Isn't the payment $8,000 a year?
Mhm.
How many years?
3.
That's $24,000.
Well, I guess they, I was just gonna say, they had to add on all these things.
It was $4,000 to set the car up, right? Or 3,000, is it 3 or 4? But we also did the other car too, we put something, the gun rack or something.
Still.
There was something with the 2 cars, I remember, boy, I don't remember
Well, when
exactly.
I talked to the chief, prices have gone up, okay? A 2013, you're not gonna get anywhere, 35, 38,000 is probably when he told me the ballpark range is. I called our bank that we deal with, Franklin, I just said, just basically, can you give me something? 1.99% for 3 years.
That's not,
Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there. It's something we're gonna have to talk about because I'm down to 2 cars.
Was that a lease or a buy?
I buy.
I thought,
Dan's gonna look into, a lease program with this Day Motor or whatever company and check another one. So it's coming down the road. We're gonna have to talk about it, okay?
Don't they make the lease version of like the Escapes, like Frank drives, it's a small SUV?
I don't know if they make them that size, to be honest with you.
Because I mean, the price ramps up considerably, like when you go from the Escape to the Explorer, and then the Explorer up to the...
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's a huge
It's a big
ramp.
difference, yeah. But these are things that we need to talk about because how do I authorize or ask council to authorize getting the heater cord fixed and then next week the transmission?
yeah.
Yeah.
oh, that transmission's still on warranty, by the way.
Oh, it is? I'm glad to hear that.
We just bit that bullet.
You know,
But seriously, like,
I
you know
know.
what I'm saying?
I think-
I'm waiting for the rear to go, because that's what I was told, is probably.
Okay, even
the
that's-
third week.
You know,
I mean, you know.
the thing that you've been bringing up, and we alluded to earlier, is that key word, that key phrase, planning for the
Absolutely.
future.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Okay,
have to do that.
and instead of just looking at January 1st, 2013, we have to look at January 1st, 2014, and maybe January 1st, 2015. Okay, a long-range plan in terms of equipment, expenses, and things like that. And yes, unfortunately, would that mean a potential tax increase? Yes, it may, but perhaps if we plan now for the future, we can keep that increase at a minimum, which I think we all want. But
Can you
there does have to be some type of plan instead of doing things on the spur of the moment, which we've all been guilty of.
Can you remember the question I asked when I was interviewed?
Yeah, about long-range planning. We did.
And do you remember our answer? No, we live for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I asked for a 3-year plan, a 5-year, and he's looked at me like, what?
We could barely get through the moments.
So this is a goal that I would really like to see we move forward to do a little more long-term planning here, because we have to put it in place. If we don't get the grant for the pool, okay, there are major renovations that need to be done. If we don't get something for the borough building, police department has done wonders to try and make it a more effective department. The code office, they're limited to do what they have to do. The fire department, I talked to Jim Shalarski about a simple $7,500 grant that they could get. They never applied for it. They never, in their history, have applied for it. It's all for radio, small tools, with the volunteer fire company. It's something that's a 50-50 match, but you can use even your auxiliary to help fund that. There are things here that, haven't been done that they're looking to say, yeah, when we're hungry, we'll do these kind of things.
Well, to interrupt, I think we've all made the point, and Rob was the one that, brought the point to the forefront. I don't think you're going to get any opposition, at least I would hope not from anybody here, to do your job. So if at any time, if somebody disagrees with me, please speak up. At any time that you want to sit down by yourself or in conjunction with Bonnie, who has experience from over return, that you guys want to start putting together, I don't know, a 1, 2, or 3 year plan, stuff like that, and present it to council, okay? That instead of us trying to ram through a budget that's put together starting October 1st, there's nothing written in stone that you can't start planning for a budget right now for 2014, and then these are things that we should put in for 2015
And I thought,
and 2016.
and you said
if-
earlier, it's almost a year that I'm here, and in this year, I uncovered a lot of things that I just didn't expect. And I'm hoping that, you know, we can do something like that in the real near future.
So all we're basically saying is, we come up with a job description for the position of borough manager, go ahead and do it. And don't go thinking that, oh, I have to check with council, or I have to check with.
Well, that's
this
been
person.
kind of the situation. I really have not been able to do everything I want to do, but
Are you constrained by something that's in your job description?
no, I'm saying that the way that things are being done here, period.
At this table?
At this table.
I'm saying is,
I'm
the way I
not,
see it, and, you know, say Franklin, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if it says something in your job description, do it.
Yeah.
That you have the authority, you were given the authority by this council.
She won't do it.
I've done some things.
How
but I
many
won't do-
times, how many
I won't
times
do a lot
have I
of things
said to
because
you?
I have a supervisor that I have to go to, and that's, he's not here to defend himself, but that is the way that I was told that I still have to work things. I have to go to my supervisor.
Even though it says, does it say different in your job description?
I don't think it really says different, but there are things that I can do that.
Just do it. Just do what you have to do.
And the other thing is,
I
The
said
$2,500
the other day.
Here,
She
let-
said
let-
she
let-
has
let-
an
let me-
idea.
Let me do it this way, it won't be the first time in my life I put my neck out.
She
Okay.
said she had this idea, I don't
And-
even remember what it was.
Okay.
He said
And-
no.
and this isn't
I said,
something
how
that
did he know?
we
She
have to
said, I
vote on,
sent him a
okay?
text. I said, well, there was your first problem.
Here's the way, I'm sorry.
No,
No, please,
No, you finish.
I got to, I'm sorry.
No,
No,
you
you started.
I like what you were saying, go ahead.
Listen, if you stick your neck out and we chop it off, it's your job. I say stick your neck out, it's worth the gamble.
I've
Roll the
done it
dice.
I just had an
I mean,
argument
roll the
over,
dice. I mean, what do you have to lose?
I had an argument.
He can't fire you.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Wells Street project should have been closed out December 30th of 2012. I'm still fighting about getting a meeting with Paco. I made the meeting, I did get the meeting, and that's, you really owe the man like $36,000, not $2,000, like somebody thinks. I went back to the engineer, I said, you need to show me these change orders. I only have a draft copy, I don't know if there was ever another copy, but that has to be paid. You have to get this taken care of.
Let me pose it this way, instead of going around the whole thing over and over again. I guess I'm in charge of that, I'm not sure what it's
Technically, yes.
So,
Sharing the meeting.
because I'm chairing the meeting, I can then give you a directive as Vice President of Council who's chairing this meeting to do your job as described in your job position, in your job description, which council approved and hired you to do.
Okay, well then you can
And-
start seeing a lot of things that are just gonna be done here.
How many people does it take to fire a fire? So if you do your job, it takes 4 of us to fire. He's one. I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying that, and you know, me and Joe agree on a lot of things, we disagree on a lot of things, but I would take the chance.
I mean, I think you do it out of a means of respect.
I do.
But you've been here long enough to know that, you know, he has his own agenda on some things, and it isn't always for the good of the borough.
Per the borough code, it takes a majority of the elected members of council to hire or fire the borough manager. So it's not a simple majority of people at a meeting. It takes so if there's five members here, it still takes 4 votes. It's a majority of the elected members. And
Just so you know that you're gonna start seeing some things that are, you might start questioning me, why did you do this? And I'll
Is it
give you a
in
reason
your-
why.
is it in your job description?
If it is, yes.
Then if
If it's
it's in
not-
your job description, Barb, then
If it's
This
not, I
council-
still bring it to the council's attention.
you know,
Well, I'm a layperson.
I'm gonna tell you right now, over the bees, okay? That's a safety issue of any person in this area.
That was the thing, like, I couldn't remember what the topic
Don't let them
was. Here's a perfect
Okay,
example.
that's what happened.
I was told that it's
Just see
not
the-
our property and more or less let it go. It's not for me to worry about.
Did they see the nest?
You saw the
yeah,
pictures.
I drove down and saw.
I showed, that was right by the soccer field, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where there's
On the
people.
way
Right, right,
to
right, state
the
police,
county.
Well, negligence is huge.
Well, that's how I felt. If somebody came to me and said, I told the borough manager,
She
you
did, but they have the police barricaded off.
Yeah.
So then, good,
What's
excellent
the
job.
harm with that?
What's wrong with that?
but I got the comment that it's not our property, you shouldn't be worried about that.
Oh, this,
So that was
It's a
my,
safety
when
issue
I
that
said,
somebody
how
brought to
did
my
you know
attention,
about
I'm
it?
sorry.
She said, I sent him a text. I said, that was your first
to
problem.
everybody though.
well, no, you're supposed to send, you're supposed to alert us, we're supposed to.
Yes,
notify.
I-
If I wasn't.
Yeah,
notified,
I
I'd
felt
be
But
very
he,
upset.
but
It's better to notify everybody that it
his
is.
response was.
If I went down there and my kid got stung, and I found out who knew about it,